everybody. Thank you all for joining us here this evening to show our support and love for Brianna Ghey and to support each other through such a horrific attack. Brianna was 16 years old. Today she should have been doing the things that she enjoyed. She should have been making TikToks and going to school and working towards her GCSEs. She should have been seeing her friends, but now she won't get to do that because of a selfish, hateful and violent act that stole those experiences and thousands of others away from her. Today they've started considering whether this could be a hate crime, and I know for a lot of us this sounds all too plausible. We know that recorded hate crimes towards trans people went up 56% from 2021 to 2022. We know that the media has become much more hostile towards trans people in recent years, and that trying to debate our existence and rights is drumming up more hatred. We know that these conditions create more bullying in schools and hurt young trans people, many of who are already struggling to be themselves because of the attitudes towards young trans people in wider society. We need to do more to support and listen to young trans people and to educate their peers to reduce ignorance and violence. Young trans people deserve respect, and they deserve to be treated better than our society is currently treating them. And although it's important to talk about these things, Although it's important to talk about these things, it's important to remember that Brianna did not ask to be a martyr. She was a 16-year-old girl with a normal life. I didn't know her or her family, and I think it's important to listen to how those close to her remember her. Brianna's family have put out a statement which reads, "Brianna was a much-loved daughter, granddaughter, and baby sister. She was a larger-than-life character who would leave a lasting impression on all that met her. Brianna was beautiful, witty, hilarious. She was strong, fearless, and one of a kind. The loss of her young life has left a massive hole in our family, and we know that the teachers and her friends who were involved in her life will feel the same. This evening, I'd like to stand in solidarity with Brianna's family and friends and show them our love is with them and Brianna by taking a moment of silence together, please. Thank you all. On Trans Day of Remembrance in November, we tied ribbons to this Vigil tree here. Each one represents a different trans person who's passed away due to violence. Today we'd like to add a ribbon for Brianna to remember her here in Bristol. We'd like to open up the space for anybody who'd like to speak or who would like to maybe read a poem or anything similar. to come forward and be able to share their thoughts in order for us to all support each other.
So I just want to say, when I saw the image of Brianna on Saturday, I was devastated because I saw somebody who looked just like my daughter, and the pain I've been feeling for the last few days has been abysmal. I echo all the things that have been said so far, and one thing has to be said, that Brianna deserves to be respected in death as well as life. She was 16, she identified as female, and yet the fact of the matter is she will have male on her on her death certificate. And this is the very reason why we've been campaigning for reform to the Gender Recognition Act. I just want to read a few lines from a poem from Ros Caveney. And yet they also mourn out on the street, blow on their hands in cold and cry. You all know each death is one in a long line, and most of those who die, or black or brown, never forget them, sisters. Most of the names on the long list we mourn. The day is not about some perfect line. One of us gets to write because we're safe, and some of us are rich, and it's true, all of us are here, not working on the street. Black, white and brown in danger or quite safe. We have to mourn our sisters, mourn them all, in solidarity's unbroken line, rich, poor, all standing proud on the street.
I am here as a trans woman. I'm here as a trans woman of colour. I'm here as someone who did not know this treasure, this gem that we lost to ignorance. I'm not here to overshadow what happened to her, but I'm here to highlight the pain that we are in. And the fact that this has been happening for generations and generations. And this is sad to me because she was so young. But something that I realized today, and something that I need everyone to realise, and that I especially need trans women to realise, is that trans joy and trans rest and trans comfort are also important means of resistance, and they are important means of fighting back. This is a world that is not kind to us. This is a world that has not been kind to us for so very long. This is a world where privileged, comfortable trans women are still in danger. So imagine what everyone else is going through. So what you need to understand is that rest, that comfort, that happiness that you have, that is also important. Because that's what they want to stop. By causing these things to happen, by doing these acts of ignorance, of terror, of horror, they want to stop us from thriving. They want to stop us from living. They want to stop us from being happy. And that is exactly what we need to do, so that we stand against that tirade, so that we stand in a place where they look at us and they can't topple us because we are thriving, we are happy, we are content. So please thrive, be content, be happy, grow. I know that's what we as trans women want of everyone, because we just want to live. And even though we contribute so much to society, and as trans people we contribute to society, as queer people we do, and she contributed in the way that she made people happy. If you saw her social media, if you saw the way that she said things, it made people happy, it gave people excitement. We contribute so much, and all we ask in return is that you let us live and you let us exist. That is not deserved of us. We deserve to ask for more. She deserved to ask for more, and yet that is all we ask. So I'm telling you to thrive, I'm telling you to live, I'm telling you to be happy, and I'm telling allies to to not just let us be happy, but to build spaces where we can be happy and comfortable and survive and thrive and grow. And in light of that message, I have prepared a small poem. And this poem, for me, was one that I chose to read because I had an option of 2 poems. And my other poem was about weaponized trans bodies, and for me, this poem, which talks about how I found happiness in my trans body as a trans woman, how I found excitement and joy, this speaks more to this gathering. Because what I'm trying to do is center my trans joy, what I'm trying to do is center my trans happiness. Because that's what she was doing. She was centering her happiness, her kindness, her love of life. That's what she was doing, and so let's continue that legacy. I'm not saying don't fight, because to fight is an act of honor, and it is an act which we should do, but only if you have the energy to do so, and if you can't, don't feel guilty, please. Just thrive, just live, just be content. She's staring at me. All illusion, no substance. A believer in dreaming, all the while trapped in a dream. Smudged fingertips drag over her skin. Foundation dresses her scars and shadows. Can you see beneath the dressage and bows? Spread across her breasts and navel are slashes and stretch marks. Blue veins strain against the surface of her brown skin. The soft folds of herself, her lips, her wandering spider leg fingers. The swell of her aching chest and hard tummy. The casual dip of her collarbones, a sharp breath in and never let out. Curls of black and brown bounce from ear to nape. Boy, have I grown to love this shape. Shoulder blades, spades and hearts, and a deck of cards painted on the inside. Dragon tail reaching towards my undercarriage, soft caressing hair leaking over my arms and legs, dripping from my pits to my cheeks. I burned you before with my white male gaze, but the warmth of this diaspora fans your flames. She's staring at me, all substance and illusion. Fuck your bland blankets you throw over our toes, her smirk and smile are my own. Bitten lips dance across her mouth. I peel this mask off after every dance, but now I am at the masked ball. At this, I stand tall. Tell me why you teach me that I am wrong for wanting to be she, but I am right for wanting to take a lead. That I am the main character in your wet dream, but the protagonist in your history. That I am dying, graying, crumbling to bitter ash, because you burn my brethren down with hungry hornets from the canisters of your itching fingers. That when I am young, I am an envelope licked shut by your greedy tongue. She's staring at me. All love, no illusion. Seeing me rise and fall, a bird now with a call. Brown girl magic, they call it. Looking in this mirror, I can see that, no shit. This poem is about me as a brown trans girl, but this poem is about trans people. This poem is about trans women. When we look and we see and we learn to love our beauty and we learn to love who we are. So learn to love who we are. Understand who we are. And fight for us, because if you fight for us, you're fighting for everybody beyond. On this day, we're standing here because we're fighting for a child, a gem, a treasure that we lost, and we continue to lose them. Please don't let this happen again.
My name is May. I am a comedian who performed here in November as part of Trans Pride Southwest. At the end of that performance, as I do with every single one, I said, all of you are special, and that's truer now more than ever. All of us are special. We're all as unique and as valuable to society as Brianna was. Be proud, be angry, just be proud. You're all special. Thank you.
I'd like to play some music. I'd also like to welcome you to join in if you feel moved or like you need to move make noise. We're very silent at mourning in this country, and sometimes it's helpful not to be.
Hello? I'm not very good at speaking, so you'll have to bear with. I am a 16-year-old trans girl. I sort of want to say, seeing the events of the past few days surrounding Brianna's death, it has instilled a new layer of fear and isolation into my experience as a trans person. However, amongst this isolation, I think it's important to look around here now, today, you know, because if you look left, you look right, everyone here is like-minded and supporting, and I think it's a good way of remembering that we're not alone, that in what is a fight against what seems like an impossible power, that there's, you know, each other here, 200 people maybe, that's enough, and that through that there'll always be support, hope, love, and all of that. So yeah.
Hi, I'm not the best at speaking thing unless I'm ranting at people, which I'm quite good at. But I wanted to say that Brianna was a young girl with a whole life ahead of her. I look back at what I've lived, the life I've lived, the things I've done from when I was 16 to where I am now, and she'll never have that, and that makes me angry. I never knew her, none of us did, but there is a saying I have heard, may their memory be a blessing, and I think that's what we can wish for here. May her memory be a blessing, and may it be an inspiration, and you're not alone, none of you. I mean, I've not lived what you have lived.
This isn't the first time I've held a microphone, or whatever this is, with anger in my heart. Indeed, this might even be the same megaphone that I used when Posey Parker was here in June. And I'm angry. Everyone should be. Not just at her killers, who have a whole other level of hell coming to them, but the system that has promoted this vitriolic hatred of trans people since God knows how long. And didn't really plan my speech out when I get the microphone, but we're all feeling it regardless of whether or not I can say it. Vitriolic, unadulterated anger at the system that has promoted this hatred, this murder, this killing. And how long are we going to be expected to wait for somebody in Parliament to help us, to represent us, and to wait for Labour or somebody to grow a backbone and put an end to this? How long are we going to wait?
Hi, sorry, this is like the first time I've done this, but as I'm sure is true for many of you, this is not the first time I've attended a vigil for trans death, and it's very upsetting, but I want to talk about love right now, because we know Brianna was loved, and we know all of us are loved, and we're all taking part in we're all beautiful and divine, we're all taking part in an act of creation that is the most natural thing in the world. And I know the media and, you know, all of the TERFs and everyone want us to believe otherwise, but I mean, you see everyone here, and we all know the same thing, is that we are loved. And I think about all the love that is there now that wasn't there when I was 16. The other day, someone in my class was talking about how his child had just come out as non-binary, literally the week before, and I wanted to cry in front of like 15 people who don't really know me that well, because that wasn't exactly true for my parents when I was 16. It still isn't quite true that they would just tell a bunch of people about it. And I know it's really difficult. I mean, I've been wanting to cry all night, but have to think about everyone here, about every one of my friends, especially my trans friends, who are just so amazing and beautiful and so loved, because I love them and they love each other and they love me. And yeah, I don't know, we are the most natural and beautiful thing in the world, and we can't forget about that no matter what. And I know Brianna was loved, and I hope she knew this, and I wish she got to live. I wish all of the other people who have died because of violence, because of the lack of support of the system, I wish all of them had got to live more, but I know each and every single one of them and all of you are so loved. And yeah, I'm the one.
My name is Ali, my pronouns are they them. I just wanted to talk quickly about a couple of things that happened on the way to this vigil, to me and my fiance. We had a homophobic slur shouted at us, and we also overheard someone saying one on the bus. And the people who did that were children. They were probably about 15 or 16. So I would like to call on all of the cis allies that have come out tonight. Please have a conversation with the young people in your lives and let them know what is and is not acceptable. Because quite frankly, it is not on us trans people to stop this from happening again. It's on you. So, like, with respect, please try and take action. And may Brianna's memory be a blessing.
Hi everyone. On the trip over, I felt a lot of the rage, a lot of the sadness that people have spoken about, and it felt like it would be a good idea to come and shout cathartically, but being here, I see so much love, and I want to talk, hopefully on behalf of everyone here, when I say to everyone here that we love you. To all of the trans and non-binary people who've come out tonight, we love you. And to all the allies who left their home and came out to be at this vigil, we love you. To the elder members of the community who've seen far too many vigils already, I'm sure, we love you. And of course to all of the youth, the young trans people, you are especially loved and we care for you. And we want the best for you. To anyone here who didn't hear it from their parents or their family, we love you. You are loved immensely and deeply. To anyone who, after the events of Brianna and everything that's happened so far, who feels like they need to hide their identity, to cover up, who for their own safety is stepping back, we love you and we hope that we can make a better world. And to everyone who wants to be bolder and brasher and more visible, we love you. And I can definitely speak for myself when I say that I love you all. Every single one. And for the last thought on community, we're all here. You can see all the people around you. We are your community. And we're not just here for you after you die. We're here for you now and all the time. So I hope that we can stick together even more. They're not going to tear us apart. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Robin. I wasn't really planning on saying anything, but I felt like this was important. They've done some research. Well, we've heard that Brianna was bullied quite heavily. I don't know how true this is, but I believe it.
And there's been some research into bullying and the best ways to stop it. It isn't for outreach. It isn't outreach to the bullies. It isn't telling bullied children to be normal. Neither of those work, obviously. The only way to stop bullying is when the community, when children, when young people make it unacceptable. If you're young, if you're in school, if you have young people in your life, please tell them this. They need to make bullying unacceptable. If when they see bullying, they need to stand up and they need to say it's not okay. They need to approach those bullies. They need to tell them, no, this isn't okay. We don't accept this. This is wrong. Stop. Yeah, and that's all I really had to say. So thank you.
Hello. Yeah, I didn't know Brianna personally, but I just wanted to come out here and say that to all the trans young people here today, you belong. You deserve to be yourselves. You have an entire community behind you. Yeah, you belong. You are valid. You are so incredibly loved.
Hi everyone. I'd like to echo what some other people have already said. That it is just, I'm feeling like such a sense of relief seeing how many people have turned out for this tonight. Some other speakers have spoken to the sense of isolation that I'm sure a lot of us feel in our daily lives, but especially when we're witness, in the media, even at a distance, or in person perhaps, to the events that we have been. However, seeing everybody here, as well as building that sense of community, that real sense of community, is also a reminder of the real sense of strength that being in that community gives us. And strength not just as a feeling, but as a concrete thing. We all have skills and abilities that we can share with one another to actually make a difference and make a change. I know there was a speaker earlier that spoke to a sense of helplessness, which is real, but there is a real difference that coming together like this and for a cause can make to that sense of hopelessness. Although, as some other speakers have mentioned, we all know that the real root cause of this is not the hearts of individual people, but an extremely hostile climate of the media and of culture, which has been financed by our enemies. However, the material fact remains that some of us might, at some point in our lives, also be faced with a risk of violence, just as we go about our daily activities. I would like to propose that some of us, if we have them, use any skills that we might have, such as self-defense, to train each other so that if we feel necessary or able to, we can use those skills to maybe change the balance on an individual level, as well as fighting together for the bigger cause that we all know we're here for. If you, trans or otherwise, here tonight have any of those skills that you feel like you would like to share, myself and my friends here would be interested in facilitating and organising a means for you to share those. And if you would like to do that, please come and meet us after this over by the memorial tree here, and we'd be really excited to talk to you. But thank you all for coming out tonight. You really make me feel strong.
I'd just like to echo what my friend has said here as well, that there are many things we can share with each other, and that can also be like emotional support. I personally know multiple trans people who are quite isolated, and times like these feel like extra important times to be reaching out to those people and offering love and support and care, company, in whatever means you can. And I'd like to encourage everyone here to think about how they can do that for people within their networks and, you know, loose social circles. On top of that, if you have friends who are personal defense trainers or personal trainers, anything like that, who perhaps are cis and allies as well, we'd really like to know. We're willing to lend some organising effort and some organising abilities to set up free self-defence classes for trans people, explicitly for self-defence. So yeah, please come and chat to us after if that is something that interests you. And I'm sorry I don't have anything beautiful to say, but it's amazing to see you all here.
I just wanted to say a few words about this and read a poem that I wrote a while ago about my fight as a trans woman to keep loving myself despite things like this and despite everything, and hopefully people can relate and help themselves and others do the same. And I'm just going to change a few words of the poem to make it not about me but us. Yeah, so just a couple things. Like, Brianna had a massive social media presence on TikTok, I believe, and this was a, you know, documentation, and given the recent events, and I mean, I really struggle to have a social media presence, and that really hit home. And this applies to other things as well, but that's just an example. And then also another key point that I really wanted to say was I transitioned because I realized if I didn't, a possibility for my future was death. And what I really want to like hammer home is, with this as an example, is in my experience and often others as well, choosing to transition, choosing to do that, choosing yourself is choosing violence towards yourself. It's choosing unsafety. But people do it. They still do it, despite the fact that it is not safe. It is safer than not transitioning. It is safer than... Yeah, I think that point, I've made that point. Yeah. And like that just shows how radical of an issue this is and has to be. Anyway, I'm going to read this poem, and I'm going to change the title for this to Love Someone That Looks Like Me, because today is about love, and a lot of people have spoken about love, and it always wins. And there's historical evidence of that everywhere. Anyway. We are very good at making sure that no one else can upset us. We are very good at controlling the part of us that others once used to. We are not out of control, but we are definitely not among it. We are very good at melting into other people's molds of view so that when we are upturned, we come out as something they already know how to slice. I abandoned my body before anyone else could. I threw it in the trash, covered it in glitter and gas, held a glass up to the sun so that when people called it a burning shit show, it could be something I chose to become. We are very good putting out fires other people have set on us like dogs. We are very good at making the damaged skin fit well. We will tattoo your hate big across the smalls of our backs like wings, as in our anatomy will be permanent reminders that you can never tear what you said away from the damage that it did, a permanent reminder that our identities too often only find refuge in spite, a permanent reminder that my pronouns are thee, she, it, as in the shit. The shit is not in control. We have stopped running dry of it so often now. Now we gush. Now we are gone. We are going. We are done. We are done and we are dusted. Go away and love someone that looks like me. Trust me. We are very good.
Good evening, everybody. Hear me? Great. Firstly, I'd like to say how amazingly gracious some of the speakers have been towards the cis community and allies, and I thank you for that. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak. When I heard the tribute that Brianna's family paid to her, I was incredibly moved by it, because I'm in the very fortunate position to have a child a little bit older, and if I had the eloquence, that was a description of my child, and it chilled me to the heart. As I said, if I had the eloquence, I would write that about my child as they are today, not sadly, no longer with us. What I wish for you is that you had a parent or a family ally who would say the same things about you. I'm very passionate now about supporting and being an ally. So anyone who is, maybe you have parents who aren't quite there, please come and see me. You can see this with us. And I will try and help you if I can with that journey. Well done, guys. I'm so proud of you. You are all looking just fabulous, and this is such a beautiful yet really very sad occasion. Thank you.
I'm 16 and I'm a trans man, and if you guys remember last year there was a Posey Parker protest, right? Anti-trans, and it was horrifying to see people my age get hated on by older people, the people that are calling us perverts, pedophiles, disgusting. I got beaten up by, I want to say, a 50-year-old woman, and I am very lucky that I had friends there to help me. My cis friends, my trans friends, they all help me. But some people don't. And this community has come out here and showed that today, we are here for Brianna, we are here for the trans youth, and we are here to show up for everyone who needs it. It's horrible that we have to be here today for what we're here for, but we will continue to fight, we will continue to show up for as long as it takes for us to get the rights we need to support the older trans people, our trans youth, everyone. And thanks for all the cis allies for coming out, helping trans people. But we need to do this more often, we need to show up, and we need to tell the oppressors that it isn't okay what they're doing. And we'll continue to support the trans youth through and through.
Hello, can you all hear me? Lovely. My name is Fiona Broderick, and I'm 23 years old. And tonight I wanted to come out here to pay my respects. I wasn't expecting to come up and say anything, honestly. I'm not very good at it, but I'll do my best. And what I really wanted to come up here to say is, I didn't know Brianna personally. I have known people like her. I am close, both platonically and familially, with people her age. And what I wanted to say tonight, rather than what you might usually expect to hear, I want to say I'm sorry. I want to say I'm sorry to everyone historically that has been failed and that I've failed. There are people who are trans, who I've been close to, who I've failed, even after transitioning. And moments like this make me reflect on those days. I look back now and I realise that I have done things I'm not proud of. And all I can do now is try and do good by them. And I want to do my best to be that kind of person that any of you, all of you wonderful, amazing, exceptional people out here, I want you to be able to come to someone like me and know that you're safe. And if I ever fail you at any point, please let me know, and I will work my damnedest to do better, because we've got to do better by, not just by ourselves, but by each other, to show up like you've all shown up tonight, to prove all of those awful people out there wrong about us, that we are not heartless, we're not perverts, we're not deviants, we are simple people trying to live in a world that wants us pummeled to the ground. What happened to Brianna, whether they want to admit it or not, is their end game, and we need to ensure that that is no longer normalized. And even if it starts with the smallest steps, owning what you've done wrong in the past and moving forward to make a better future, even in a small way, you are doing so much more than those so-called leaders who are trying to represent us. And I want you to know that from the bottom of my heart that I love every single one of you, and that even when we're feeling so broken and so alone, that we can find solace and unity within each other, to come together and to pay whatever respect we need to in any way we can. Thank you.
I'm afraid I'm a little bit wobbly at the moment, so please do bear with me if I can't quite get through all this. Brianna, I am so sorry. I'm sorry you died in such fear and pain and without dignity. I'm sorry that you've been further stripped of your dignity by the media. I am sorry that there are people rejoicing in your death. I am sorry for the years of transphobic bullying that took place before this. I am sorry that so many people have failed you. I am sorry that the police refuse to accept this as a hate crime. I am sorry that your killers will get off with no significant consequences. I don't personally believe in the afterlife, but I hope that wherever you are, you're at peace, and I hope that you are blissfully unaware of what's happening down here. Being trans should be a thing of joy. It should be a journey of self-love, of becoming who you truly are. Sorry, give me a second. Every trans person knows that it is not joyful and cannot be joyful as things currently are. There are moments of joy, but they are overcome by anger, fear, sorrow, exhaustion, and grief. Anger at the world and those in charge for the cruelty we face and for being so unjust. Fear for our safety and health, fear of never knowing if this will be the last time that you leave the house. Fear of whether the people around you will be the reason why you don't return. Sorrow at your friends and family leaving you, at them grieving the person they saw you as instead of the person you are. Exhaustion as every second of your day you are reminded that you are hated for what you are, that people want you dead. Exhaustion as you are reminded that your safety and happiness is less important than a game or a book series. Grief that rips you apart and leaves you broken. As another trans person becomes just another statistic to the vast majority. Someone asked me, why does Brianna matter? Why is this death more important than all the others? I don't think it's a question in good faith, but there are certainly others who will be asking, so it's worth answering. Brianna was 16. Her youth was already stolen from her in the way that it's stolen from any minority. It's hard to be a child and face discrimination and hatred at every corner, especially for something you have no control over. Despite her youth, her death is not surprising. A study on the mortality rates of trans people spanning for 5 decades and including 4,568 trans people found that trans women are 6.1 times as likely to die from non-natural causes, including murder and suicide, than cis women. 6.1 times more likely is not a coincidence. It is a direct reflection of the society we live in. These deaths are systematic. Brianna was murdered, and the immediate response from the media was to dig for her dead name to publish for the world to see. A child dies, and people find ways to disrespect her and her family and cause further harm to those who loved her. It is a further deliberate reminder that even in death we will receive no respect, no dignity. And speaking of respect and dignity in death, Brianna's death certificate will likely list her as male and by her dead name. The English government recently stopped the Scottish government from passing the GRR, a bill that sought to give Scottish trans people dignity and listing who they truly are on their marriage and death certificates, and nothing more. I know that the increase in transphobia and transphobic attacks is because we are winning the trans debate. Public acceptance and understanding is increasing exponentially, and it really is just that loud minority who are digging their heels in and trying to bring the rest of us down with them. They're so desperate to find people who support them that they're now publicly siding with misogynists, fascists, and neo-Nazis. Regardless of this fact, this does not feel like winning. I do not want trans martyrs to weep and grieve for. I want cis people to actively support us. I want cis people to face the uncomfortable fact that the system and their inaction is killing us and to do something about it. We cannot do this alone. Defend your trans friends, challenge transphobic behaviour, vote out this government that's so intent on stripping us of our rights. Simply not hate criming us is no longer enough. I hope you rest easy, Brianna.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jack Fairweather. I turned 21 this year and I am non-binary. I wasn't planning on speaking tonight, but I realised that I would be doing a disservice to myself, the people I rely on, and the people who rely on me if I didn't. Tonight, like many nights this week, and I think I speak for a lot of us when I say every night, has been a night of fear, a night of anger and a night of sadness, but I beg you all to please make it a night of love as well. Love has been spoken about throughout this, and I think there's a reason why. It's because without loving each other, a lot of us wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be here if I didn't have people like you who loved me the way I wish a lot of my family did. You are all far more important than you know, and far more loved than anyone will ever tell you. Never forget that.
Hello everyone. I'm gonna try and do this also without crying, but I'm not gonna guarantee it. Just want to say thank you to everyone who's come tonight and also everyone who's organised this. This is a moment of grief for us to share together, and it's a reminder of the larger fight that we have for our kids, for our community, for young trans people who are coming into a more dangerous world than the one that we grew up in. And if you would like to, come and organise and fight against it, take an active step against it. There are people here tonight who you can come chat to, but yeah, that is all I'm going to say with that. I don't really have anything that I think could top everything that everyone else has said.
Thank everyone who's come tonight, and I'd like to thank everyone who spoke. Please go with safety and go with love, and please come to talk to us if you've got some anger and you've got some drive that you want to put into something that fights back. Otherwise, go in peace. Yes, good night everybody.
Thank you.
There.